First is approve the May 10th minutes. Did we have a chance to review those?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from May 10th.
I'll second that.
Discussion? Colin?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes. Yes. Okay, then we have the March financials. Do we have a chance to review those? We're getting caught up.
Yeah, I should have April and May by June's meeting. And I don't know if you like these reports or not, so if we want them, we can put them down, but I'm just trying a couple different things until we see what you guys all like for reports.
Right, when I get back, we'll probably go through it and figure out which reports we want for sure.
Okay.
I move we approve March financials.
I'll second.
Discussion? Colin?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes. Yes. Special event permit, Riverboat Saloon. This is, now, is this for the street dance or for a beer garden or what? This,
I'm guessing it's the beer garden that he always has outside of the bar for Riverboat Days.
He's not putting on the street dance, right? The committee is?
Correct, this is not his. He is in conjunction with
Okay, so this is
Riverboat
just for
Days.
his...
Yep, it's just the
his
bar
beer
that
garden.
he has set up outside of his building.
Perfect. Just like he always does?
Yeah.
Any questions on that?
That's just going to be out front, right? He's not going to have it in the back too?
Well, in the back he has his deck, which,
Yeah.
I mean, he can
Okay.
serve up there, so, yeah.
Okay.
It's for the front, right? Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the special event permit for Riverboat Saloon.
Second.
Discussion? Colin?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes. Yes. Okay, Leilani, we'll bring you up first.
Good evening.
Hello.
We are in the process of our 4th year of having our pumpkin party on September 26th.
Thank you.
And this year we're going to add it's a pumpkin derby races that we want to do on 14th Street since it doesn't have cross streets going. It just kind of swings around in front of our house, and the incline there is, or decline as you will,
How about coming down the hill?
coming down the hill. There's 2 chassis and 4 wheels and no platform, no motor, and basically the kids would just, or adults too, would hold them and let them go, and then we'll have bales at the end of the street to catch them. But if they wreck, they wreck.
Sure.
So I'm just here seeing if we could put a barricade at the top of 14th and the bottom of 14th. Just for, it depends on how many entrants we're going to have because it's the first time that we've done it. So it could depend on how many come in. Could be an hour, could be 2 hours, could be a half hour.
So this on a Sunday?
It is on a Sunday, yep.
You probably don't want to put barricades on the side streets too to keep people from...
The only side street there would be that alleyway. There's an alleyway that goes behind Sherry Schmidt's
Right.
residence.
It's the one,
Just up from me, right? That street?
well, no, the one, next one over.
Artie and Sandy Wagner.
Oh, way in the end.
They're at the bottom of the hill.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Wayne
Yep.
Boshi is on the side. He's got 2 car paths, I guess, and then there's one other guy that lives across the street from us. Would be the only 2 that would be
You
in there.
discussed this with any of the...
I haven't yet because I wanted to just see if I could get permission, and then, we're I have a couple months yet, but I don't foresee it would be an issue.
I think anything that we can have done is neat, you know. It would be nice to get blessings from the people that live there.
Yeah, and it
know,
would,
so.
you know, if you guys approve it, then, you know, I'll visit with them, because I didn't want to make it public
Right.
until I had your approval. And then we're also gonna have in conjunction, you know, it'll start at 1, and then we're gonna do a puppy parade on our gravel driveway
Mhm.
at 2:30, and then this would be held at 4.
Hmm.
So, just add another element into the day. And then hopefully we'll still have live music like we have for the past couple of years as well. And then I have an organization that's entertaining, serving food, and then donating the free will offering to the ambulance again.
Hmm.
Last year we had 750 that went to the ambulance from
Oh,
our
nice.
3-hour event.
I have no problems with it.
Yeah. well,
So would there need to be a permit for closing the street off, or?
Generally, you need a permit for alcohol sales. Generally, closing off the street, you just need a motion from the city. I'll make a motion to allow this event on 14th Street, you know, providing, you know, the neighbors are good with it and blocking off the streets.
Would you want a signed form from them, or just
As long as they say it's okay.
Yeah,
I'm
just get
fine with it.
verbal, and if everybody's okay with it, we're fine with it.
Cool.
Yeah, I will second that.
Awesome.
Further discussion? Somebody? Colin?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes. Yes. That
Thank
was
you.
easy. Yep, thank you.
Have a great night.
Yep. Batting cage, Park Board and School.
Got some pictures for you guys, and I know that Larry took a look at it already. It's kind of helpful to... This is the first one, would be the batting cage, and I believe it's on the park board land. And what we're trying to do is make some improvements down there between the park board, school, American Legion's helping out, and also GRE. If you look at this is the type of batting cage we would end up getting. It's removable, so all that would be left would be cement slab, you know, for the most part.
Okay.
If you look at the first picture, where it's got, it's kind of, it's supposed to be darker than that, but that's approximate location. It looked good when I did it, and then I copied it off, and you can barely see it.
It's fine. Go, okay.
Yeah. And then if you flip over to the next page, because sometimes it's kind of hard to tell what we're talking about. There's that white building, and then the batting cage would be in that orange mark there, approximately anyway.
Right.
It'd be about 55 by 14, somewhere in there. So I don't know if you guys have anything to add on that.
Well, you know, previously we had, you know, given the park board that land from, it'd be like Maddie's Corner over. So it's basically, you know, land that we have, you know, given to the park board. So I mean, I don't see an issue with it.
So it's basically a cement slab there?
Yeah.
You're not using it, put the net up when you're
Yeah,
using it?
you know, like by the baseball field there, they have that batting cage. The only difference is that one's not removable. And we would take this down, and then in the winter, you wouldn't even see it.
Right.
Sure, sure.
So it'd be up spring throughout summer, I suppose.
Yeah, as long as the park board's fine with it, yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Just something to add, I don't know if that's as far as location, is there, just adding to this, is there a different location you could put it that you could utilize that concrete slab for other purposes? You know,
Yeah, we were looking
Just
at
trying
it,
to-
we're kind of limited as far as our location, with
Okay.
the concession stand, scoreboard, fences, irrigation, underlying, you know, irrigation, all that, utilities too.
Right.
So it's we're kind of limited in space.
Okay.
And then we did leave enough room so the mowers would be able to go through,
Sure.
and you'd be able to get things in and out without an issue.
Okay. That's an easy one.
That's an easy one, okay? And then this one here would be dugout improvements. And there's a couple different options on this. Okay, I guess, we're looking at a dugout improvement, same groups that we talked about before. again, part of it is going to be safety. We're going to end up making it a full front for the most part, except for a door on each side. And that door would be just an open fence, but there wouldn't be, I know it's kind of hard to say, but like, let's say this is the fence, it would cover the whole dugout, and you'd walk out this way, but there wouldn't be any open space for a ball to come in, if that makes sense. So if you look at the first picture, again, they would be a little bit longer, well, more than a little bit, they'd be 30 feet long, they'd be 8 feet deep, and that's kind of regulation as far as with the number of people we have for softball and also for younger kids, baseball. The ones we have aren't real safe, and then also they're not long enough to get everybody in. We're just crammed in there for softball, and same thing with Little League and that.
Especially T-ball. Trying to get all those kids to sit on the benches.
The two options, you know, Larry and I talked about it, you know, it's 8 feet deep, so if we went 8 feet, what we're trying to get to, and you can see a picture, let's say the first picture here, on where it's got the garbage can. Well, the only problem is if you sit on those bleachers, and if the dugout is out there, you can't see first base. You know, so if we move it back, and it doesn't have to be all 8 feet, but if we move it back, we'd have a better line of sight as well. So that's just one picture that shows that. The next picture, as far as same thing with the garbage can, shows the same thing. You know, obviously there's kids in that dugout, you wouldn't be able to see first base. And then if you look at I guess it'd be second to last, and again, same thing with the last one. It also shows some line of sight, like for example, if you're over on the right-hand side and you look, you wouldn't be able to see home plate with it out there as far. So what we would like to do as far as the group is concerned, if we're going to put in new dugouts, it goes back to the first picture, is we would either like to have our 8-foot dugouts even with the fence, which means they would be 8 feet back, which means we'd still be 6 feet from the road. Or if you're a little uncomfortable with that, at least 5-foot dugouts back, which means we would be 9 feet, a little over 9 feet from the road. We'd really like to have that just so we would be able to have better line of sight, and also for safety-wise with the doors and everything. So I guess, is there any questions about that? I kind of went through it a little fast, but...
So if you move them back, I assume the fence will get moved to that, behind that then, so to speak? Is that correct?
Let's say this is the normal fence, and then this is the dugout, okay? Right now, this is the front of the fence. Right now, we're out here. Our plan would be to either put it here, which would be even, door would be here, and you'd come in and out, and then you'd have better line of sights and everything, or at least make it in something like this, where the only thing out would be the fence, and then you have a 3-foot door, you know, and then you would have still 9 to 10 feet from the road. If we did it even, it'd be 6 feet from the road, 6 to 7 feet from the road.
Just so there's no access from the backside of that out to the street, so kids can't run out there?
No access at all from the backside.
Doesn't make any difference how you do it then, right?
Either way would work for us.
Okay. Well, my concern is, you know, snow removal is the big thing.
Yep.
You know, that, back when we had snow,
Yeah.
you know, that whole area was just a disaster for snow. That's my only concern.
And after talking to you, that's why, you know, we looked at a couple different options, and
Right.
that would still work.
I'm really hesitant. I'm not necessarily saying no, but I'm really hesitant at this point.
Well, what are as far as the zoning ordinances, is there anything in there that specifies setbacks for something like this? that
Well,
we
there
have
is
to follow?
setbacks. Yeah, that's a very good point. You know, I'm sure the whole field violates the ordinance.
Well, yeah, I
you
mean,
know,
it might
but,
be, you know,
yeah.
something that you can it can be a workaround, and I'm just looking at snow, yeah, I mean, it can be a pain, but that can be a workaround too.
And, you know, you've done a lot of work down there. It's really,
Right.
starting to look really nice.
Well, no, that's why I'm,
The other side, you know, you look at the bottom side there, you know, that's the issue. The other side, there's plenty of room on the other side.
This side's a lot better.
Yeah.
A lot better.
just one thing that would come to mind is if we redo that street, are they gonna change any street widths in there that would widen that street at all, or are we just gonna, you know, I'd have to look back at that. I think it was just a couple options, either overlay it or mill it out, overlay it, and have
Right.
curb and gutter, you know, we talked about that. I don't think they would, you know, plan on widening it.
I wouldn't think so. Ain't enough room to put it on the field then, huh?
Well, the only problem with the field is we're not really getting any better as far as line of sight or, for safety wise. You know, in that if we leave it right where it is, we're going to increase it 30 feet. But then if we increase it 30 feet, there's more area where you won't be able to see on the field when you're sitting. You know what I mean?
So, what, you mean when you're sitting on the bleachers?
Yeah, or if, like, let's say you look at, let's say, this is the end of the bleachers here.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be kids in this area,
Mhm.
and there's gonna be kids from here all the way down to here.
Right.
Well, you're not gonna see any of this whole area of the field, because there'll be kids. You see what I'm talking about? If you're sitting here in the bleachers, from here all the way down to here, there'll be kids. So you won't, but if it's moved back, then you'll have a line of sight to the field,
Who has the seat down there?
the fans. The parents.
Now, I'm thinking this is just wording. When you say dug out, you're just doing fencing and stuff, not actually digging it down so people can see over the top,
Yeah,
right?
I should have said that.
Yep, well, I'm just,
Yeah, what we're
Sober
talking about
understanding.
is we would be talking about it'd have a cement base, and it would be 30 feet. Let me see if I have a picture.
because if it'd be in the ground, you'd help your line of sight a whole lot.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, this isn't exact, but obviously it's gonna match what we have now, but this would be more of
Right.
a similar look to what it would be.
Oh, yeah, that looks nice.
Yeah, you know, the thing, when you put that cement in there for the bleachers, you know, that doesn't affect snow removal. It's just, you know, that's, like I said, that's my big concern. It's just,
And this one's not removable, right? Where you can't take it down in the winter like
No,
the
no,
days, right? Okay.
no, yeah, this will
That's
stay,
not-
uh, similar to this one. You couldn't remove, same thing with the picture I showed you. It would be permanent, hopefully.
But we do have a lot of property towards the railroad tracks in railroad property, no reason that snow couldn't be shoved that way either. I mean, there's a lot of room there, really. So if you put them back now, based on this picture here, Keith, so we put them, is it actually back in here, correct? If I'm reading this right?
Yeah, if you see the picture with the second one, if you see the second picture, you see the flags where they would be if it was 8 foot back, the most we're asking for.
Oh,
Those
that's
flags-
the little white?
Yeah, those
Okay,
little,
okay,
again,
okay,
they
yep,
look
yep.
good when I.
Okay.
That's 8 feet.
Okay.
You know, so that means it's 6 feet from the road at that point. If we did that, that's what it would look like. If we moved it 5 feet, well, you could think 3 feet
Right.
further in,
Right.
that's how it would look for that.
I guess my thought is, if we're gonna do it, it should be, you know, 5 feet, so it leaves us, at, you know, 9 feet from the road. And then also, you know, I mean, if we almost have to have a stipulation that if it gets damaged by snow removal, that we're not responsible, you know. We do everything we can to be safe, but, you know.
Well, I mean, I guess ask this question. From your opinions, how would you like to see it?
Well, I mean, in a perfect world, it would be nice to do it even, but I understand your guys' point too.
Mhm.
I mean, you know, I guess in a situation like this, that's why we put the two options in,
Right.
because we could make both work.
You're right, but see, I also look at, you know, this is a park, it's really no different than downtown district. You don't have 9 feet between the curb and the buildings. We got snow removal there, you know, a lot of cases, so I don't know that having 9 feet of road is a big deal versus 6 foot.
There's nothing on the other side of the road.
No, that's what I'm saying, you know, so as far as snow removal, I mean, that little bit of an area, I don't see why you couldn't just roll the snow the other side.
Is it possible that we could move the dugouts farther out towards like first base and third base and just have a runway so that the players would be out a little bit farther so people could see better in the clear?
Actually, we're already increasing it. I think it's about 14, 15 feet now. We're having to make it, these are 30 feet long now and 8 feet. And with the number of people we have to have enough space for not only a bench, but also people to be able to pass.
Yep.
And we also have to make it somewhat handicap accessible too. I know it sounds crazy, but we might end up having a stat or something like that that has to get in and out.
Sure.
You know, the other thing I look at, it's not a through road, so to speak, you know, it's not a high traffic area, so.
But there's a lot of people driving on there when that event's happening
Exactly.
and everybody's crowded in, and if a car would go, you know, off the road a little bit, you know,
Right.
it would be nice to have a little few extra feet. But we can't always do that either.
It's a very limited space.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Did anybody want to take a look at the picture at all?
Oh, look at
So-
that.
And again, it won't be the black, you know, it'll.
It's gonna limit anyone parking in that space where the dugout is.
Is there anyone confused about what I'm saying, the line of sight deal? That make sense?
Yeah.
You could utilize that space for, I don't know how many people ride bicycles there, set up a little bike rack, whatever, you know, something that way, so you've got a little buffer there between, you know, a car. So, just an idea.
Somebody make a motion. You mentioned planning and zoning, does this need to go before planning and zoning? Because it is a variance, so,
Right.
you know, it's kind of a special deal, it's really not, you know,
Right, it's not.
it's really not, probably doesn't even apply going to them.
Well, I'm gonna make a motion to allow the park board to put in their dugouts to, you know, stay, at a minimum 6 feet back from the edge of the roadway, not too, you know, closer than that. And to also understand that, again, you know, if snow removal, if there is some damages, you know, city won't be liable for it. I don't see that it's gonna be an issue, really.
I don't either, but you never know.
Just to cover it, you know. I guess that would be my motion.
Do we have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Further discussion, anyone? Don, question?
No, I guess not.
Okay, Colin?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
I'll vote yes. Okay, very good.
One thing too, as the athletic director, I think Chelsea brought it up the other day. I want to thank all of you guys for everything as far as the Memorial Hall. and it's really helpful for the school. You know, I realize it's kind of a pain sometimes with all the little kids that have, but thanks, guys.
Yeah. So we're gonna work together.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. McLean County Heritage Dennis Claus. We'll be back like soon.
Yeah, you just went out to the car.
All right, let's do fall cleanup dates while we're waiting.
I had Erica get a hold of Circle just to get some dates set in mind because I know spring cleanup was kind of filled up. The only dates that they have available that works with the way that we do fall cleanup is going to be October 4th through the 8th with cleanup on the 9th.
Curbside.
Curbside, yes. Thank you. And then
That's the only one that works.
I was gonna
Yeah.
maybe go ahead and just see if we could look at spring dates, just so we can kind of get them, if maybe we could get it the same week going forward every time or what they
Oh.
have available, just so that everyone's kind of on board and the residents know kind of exactly when to expect it instead of it being early this week and late this week, so it's kind of more on the even schedule.
Right, yeah.
So we'll look at that, but
Okay.
that's when fall cleanup will be, as long as.
I'll move that we clean up October 4th through 8th, curbside on the 9th.
Second.
Discussion? Colin?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Was I signing?
Dennis here?
Oh,
Okay. What'd you say, Colin? Something?
She was wondering who seconded it.
What was down, right?
Tim?
Of all times for my hearing aid to go bad, I put a brand new battery in it, and I don't know if the batteries went or bad or what, but I'm operating at a real loss here, so. I guess we'll start out by handing out some prepared notebooks. And, as you see on the cover of this notebook, it's identified as a 1905 courthouse and museum, and a lot of us believe it's one of Washburn's proudest monuments to our ancestors. So, and we kind of get allergic to having it being called the old green building, because a lot of us are third, fourth, and fifth generation pioneer families. Did you get one? They're here. And so a lot of the ideas to move this or to tear it down or do all these things to it become quite upsetting to a lot of the people. The silent majority, of course, is a lot of times too silent, and they're afraid to appear in public and things like that, so it leaves it up to a few of us that aren't so afraid. I guess I have a couple of more. We're going to retain some here because we're running out of green here. Running out of copies of this. So first of all, our group formed the McLean County Heritage Preservation Foundation, and this is a copy of our certificate of incorporation and stuff. So that was all approved, and what we can do now is we have the ability to raise money, which is why we put it together, because we know the McLean County Museum has a difficult time with grants and things like that. So we talked about being an entity that can get grants and turn them over to the museum or whoever the grant people want the money designated to. And so we recently achieved that. And that was, took quite a while to put that together. I guess this is a copy of the letter that was sent to Mayor Thomas from the Historical Society after they toured it. And in there, in your booklet, you probably find a copy of that. I guess I need my booklet to follow along here. And in there, they point out that the half logs used in this foundation in here had been rotted away. And, but yet they didn't see any cracks in the foundation or anything. And I guess if you look, I think on the last page of your booklet, you'll see these sort of like pigeonholes in the foundation. And with the new materials that you have, similar to how they build swimming pools and stuff, you can spray or use industrial grade concrete and make this rock solid. So there's ways to fix this. There's some cracks in the floor similar to what's in your driveways and maybe in your own basements and stuff. So there's nothing here that can't be repaired in this building. So I was driving around and I was taking a look at the Medora setup where the museum and the Legion Park are side by side, and they've worked well together. And in talking with a few people, there was a lady that said, you know what, I should write a letter and say, you need to save this. So there's a letter in here to Mayor Thomas, and you probably can find it. Have you found it yet, Larry?
Yeah, it was never sent to me, by the way, but. Okay.
I'm sorry?
It was never sent to me, by the way.
Oh, okay. It was just, I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, it was never sent to me.
She gave it to me, and I just received it.
Okay.
So right now, you're getting it right now, so sorry for it. We finished this up in just 5 minutes before we got here, so it's really a last minute effort here. So, but it's my understanding, this is from the president of the Billings County Heritage Foundation. It's my understanding that your city has an opportunity to preserve and protect one of its early structures, that being of your courthouse. Please find it in your hearts to allow some of McLean County's historic heritage groups to ample time to fundraise for the preservation of its wonderful assets. Historic preservation is a win-win for the future of not only our youth, but for showcasing North Dakota's architecture, its documents, and its heritage. Please consider my request as a resident of our great state, wanting to preserve our great past. Thank you. Carmen Sura. So basically what they have done, they have a Legion Park, they have their historic courthouse, and they're enjoying the compatibility of both. And that's what we believe could happen here. I know you people have ideas to improve Legion Park, and I think that's a good idea. I think somehow or another maybe the projects could work hand in hand to be compatible and make Washburn a better place. So we are going to ask for your approval if we could put some signs on here, the 1905 McLean County Courthouse Museum, if we could change it. There's some old signs there, you can't read them, and everybody thinks it's just an old green building. And to us, it's much more than an old green building. And so if it had a nice sign on it that commands a little bit of respect to it, would like to do that. And is that okay with you, Mr. Mayor?
What sign do you wanna put on there?
Well, it would say 1905 McLean County Courthouse and Museum. There's an old one up there, and we'd probably put it here, so you can see it. Before putting it up, I bring it in and let you look at the materials and make sure that it's, you know, a good quality and that it fits with the,
I guess I would like to know what it is before anything gets put
I'm
on
sorry?
there. I would like to know what it is before anything gets put on there, like to see.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Before we say anything on that, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, this is what it would be, but I'll show you that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't want to do anything without your permission, and that's what we're trying to do, is follow the rules of the city and try to all get along better. So, if we page through this, there's pictures of the front, there's pictures in the back. It shows the old, it was referred to, this is a real old photo, known as the Fred Jeffries era type courthouse. This was real old. Fred Jeffries of of course, you know all about that, Rhonda, and some of you people there from the museum, how important of a man he was in preserving our history, and has actually family ties in Washburn that go way back. And so that was an important photo. It ties together where we're at. So let's keep going here. You have that letter now from Carmen Xerox, so that's official that you did get that. I apologize.
Is she with a historic society thing?
Yeah, she's actually president of it
Of the Medora one?
at the Billings County.
Or the Billings County, okay.
Yeah, and she was reluctant to use her title, but she sent a little note and said, if you want to use this
Okay.
in a meeting, you have my permission.
Okay,
So
that's fine.
that's what we did. I didn't know, that we were out to the bluegrass thing out there in Medora, and we were talking, and all of a sudden, she was finding out a little bit about what we're doing, and she said, you know, I need to write you a letter in support of this. And I didn't know if she ever would, but we just got the letter, and it was a nice letter. So this one shows the back part of the courthouse, which has a new roof, and it's not that bad. I was talking with a guy by the name of Pat Krebsbach. Does anybody know Pat Krebsbach? You know the Krebsbachs? Anybody? Some of you do?
From where?
Okay.
From where?
Well, Pat has a good connection here because his dad was Earl Krebsbach, related to the Johnsons, and through the grapevine, Dewey Oster's wife and all that kind of stuff. Those guys were all cousins.
Oh, that's, okay, I know which Krebsbach family you're talking about. but
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Well, their dad built a lot of the chimneys in Washburn that are still here today. And there was a son of his by the name of Siggy Krebsbach. I don't know if anybody have ever heard of Sig. Our editor over there, Mr. Mancini, there was a guy that ran that old printing press over in they worked for Oliver Borlaug Publishing, and he ran that old printing press that's over there in that building. And I was talking with his brother, and he said, well, he worked there practically all his life. So we thought about actually contacting Sig. He's 85, and see if we could get him to come up and see if he could still remember how to run that printing press. And then, you know, maybe that means something to the Borlaug family, because he spent his life printing the paper, and I guess his mind is still real good yet. So kind of an interesting little thing that just popped up out of nowhere. So there's things wrong with this courthouse. You know, it's inside of it, some of it's good, some of it's bad. There's cracks in the plaster. There's, you know, a lot of rebuilding that needs to get done. But with some grant money, I know I've had one guy say, is this stuff really in there, these nice things? Does this really exist in that courthouse? And I said, yeah. Well, said, I've never been in there before, but I'm not for taking this stuff down. If this is really in there or moved in some other place, you know, it should be preserved in its place. So I wasn't sure, you know, it's hard for me to read all of the rhetoric about who's for doing it and who's not for doing it. And somehow or another, the most of the stories are coming about how this became an issue were from people that moved into town and thought it would be a good idea to get rid of that old green building and doing things like that. And so I hear that there's strong views in the Legion Club and pros and cons and all that kind of stuff. And I'm wondering, do you have any kind of letter or anything of support to do this from the Legion Club, or do you have something like that?
I have verbal support from Legion members to pursue a Veterans Memorial Park.
Pursue what?
A Veterans Memorial Park.
Oh,
in that
okay.
spot.
But nothing in writing? So
Not
it's
at
just-
this time, no.
Okay. Well, I guess that tells me a lot, because there's people that don't want to do it too. And I guess if you had a letter in your possession that said that the Legion Club is on board to do this, it would be a lot more meaningful than sort of like hearsay. So I guess I know there's vocal people on both sides, and you get into some kind of a legal case or something and mix it up with lawyers and stuff, and unless you have it in writing, it's considered hearsay, and that's just the kind of the way that stuff works. But until there's a real letter that supports this from the Legion Club, I guess it's sort of confusing whether they're really for it. I know there's a lot of support that want it, but there's, like people keep saying, there's a lot of places in town that they could do this for. And have you ever checked into KD Services building right beside the courthouse or anything, and the availability of that building? Because that would be a natural place.
That's owned by somebody, but.
I'm sorry?
That's owned by somebody.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, as far as I know, they
Yeah.
store stuff in there.
Yeah.
We're kind of getting off the topic here, but.
Yeah. Well, it's what I'm trying to stay on the topic is, you know, these things are compatible, and if at all possible, we should try to keep that in its original place and somehow or another figure out the remedy for the Legion Park.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
You know, you say you can get grants to fix it up and stuff, or possibly get grants. You know, what about the upkeep after that?
Well, I guess
You know,
we probably would have to.
when you're not here anymore, I mean.
The foundation will have to assume those responsibilities for that. And right now, first of all, is if it's available, we could buy it from you, or you try to give it to the museum, I guess, at one time where it said you could purchase it or something. And maybe there's a way that we could sit down and try to figure out a real good deal for both sides in the event that this doesn't work. And basically what we're asking for is the 12 months we talked about in the beginning, so that we can assess these grants and try to get the grant money to see if we could really do this and demonstrate the fact that, hey, we can do this. And maybe if at the end of 12 months, if we fail, just like we said before, then I guess I'm satisfied through saying, hey, it's time for do whatever is the right thing to do. If it's to move it or to take it down, we don't want to see it taken down. But all we're pleading for, just like Carmen's here from Billings County, is have it in your hearts to give us 12 months to try to save it. and then at the end of 12 months, review this again and see where we're at in this game. And that's all we're asking for. And if you could put that in writing that we could do that, that would be really important.
What's your thoughts on moving it somewhere?
I'm totally against it. Because, first of all, this is its home. Secondly, I was going to do a dinosaur day the other day. That all didn't work out because of a board meeting and everything. We were up at the school and talking with the principal, elementary principal and junior high, and they were so excited that they could send these kids down here from the school.
Well, we're getting off topic.
No, we're not. This is right on the topic, because it can be used by the
dinosaurs.
school for events, science events, art events, all these different things that can be used by the school. So it's very important that it stays where it is. You ship it off to another buck stop junction or out of town, that takes away the ability for our kids in downtown to have accessibility to it. So it totally destroys the opportunity for a lot of kids to come and enjoy the functions that we're going to do there. So that's one of the main reasons. This just destroys the opportunity to make Washburn a fun place and have these dinosaur days or whatever days it is. If we're looking at the stars, if we set up a little classroom there, if we teach science or we teach art in there. You see what I mean? How it destroys it if you start shipping it some other place?
Well, I see that you could do your dinosaur days in another building other than that one. So it kind of is off topic, is where I'm coming from.
Why is it that you want that building gone? Don't you like historic buildings or what, Larry?
No, if it was in good shape, and, you know, really, it's not that historic.
It's not that historic?
Yes. Anyway, that's my opinion, okay? And the thing is, you know, the city should not be sticking good money after that.
The city what?
Should not be sticking good money in the...
Well, if you don't want to do it, then hand it off. Give us 12 months and see what we can do with it and get rid of it.
But you know, 2 years ago or whatever it was...
We're not
you know,
looking back. We're looking at right now. We're looking with a fresh group. We are ready to roll with this, and we're not a bunch of people a few years ago. We're right now, and we're ready to roll, and we're ready to write grants. And we have good support from the Heritage Foundation and other people to help us. So,
do you have letters from them saying
I'm
that?
sorry?
Do you have letters from them saying
well,
that?
they've produced a whole bunch of this, but I can sure give
Well,
it to
but you know what I'm saying, you
I
asked
can
me for a
give
letter from the
you
Legion,
bet.
so I'm
If that's what you want, I can give it, because I asked for that, and I'll provide you a letter of all the grants. I'll be happy to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I can do that within a few days of all the grants that are available. And through the Heritage Center and from other places, the National Science Foundation, and even the telephone companies over here, the power companies, all of these people have grant programs, and they like to help things like that for communities. So I'll be happy to give you a list of the grants that we are eligible for. Okay?
Well, no, it was letters from support of these foundations that say they're supporting you.
Well,
you just said.
Well,
you know,
what I'm saying is, you asked me if I could give you a list of the grants, and I'm saying
No,
yes.
that's not what I asked.
Yes, you did.
No, I asked, you said I have support from all these groups, and I said
I
you have
can
letters
give
from...
grants, and I
You
started
said
out
support.
with saying, don't twist me up here, Larry.
I'm not.
You
Okay, you know
asked
what?
for the
Don't
Heritage
disagree.
Center, if they would provide me a letter of grants, and I answered yes, Chief.
Anyway,
okay.
that's fine.
All right,
That's fine.
and I'll provide that for you.
That's fine.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions for Dennis?
How much is it gonna cost to fix that building?
It depends on what level that we want to fix it up and what we want to do to it. So you'd have to kind of know what you want to do to it and how good. If we want
But
to
if you wanna make it safe, you're gonna have to stick a lot of money into it.
Okay, so we'll do an evaluation. We'll see how much money we qualify for. We know what's wrong with the walls down there. We know that it passed some of the environmental things and stuff. So if we can get, start just building a grant fund, 10,000 here, whatever, 5,000, If we can go bigger, if we have some science foundation grants and things like that, and we wanna do some,
But you
looking
still
at the
didn't
stars.
answer my question. How much is it gonna cost to fix it?
Well,
That's what I'm asking.
okay, and we can, and I can tell you, if you just listen to me, you know, there's plenty of old museums around here that aren't fixed up perfect. But if you wanna know exactly what we do, first of all, we need time to make a list of what we can do and how much money we can get. And then I'll report back to you. This is what we have planned. This is the amount of the funds that we have available. But we need the decency of 12 months to investigate that. Okay? That's all we're asking.
Any other questions? Well, thank you for your presentation.
Okay? Thank you.
Okay, ready to move on? Blue Cross Blue Shield.
We kind of discussed it, and we feel we're gonna say that it's probably best for us right now to stay with our current plan that we're on. So I'll just need to sign that letter and get it back to our rep.
All right, that sounds good. Everybody sound good with that? I think it's a, what, 25% discount?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bonus. So I'll make a motion that we stay, with the current plan.
I'll second it.
Colin?
Aye.
Aye. Yes.
Yes, okay. We got green building on here, we kind of went through that. Probably more on that next meeting. Okay, the drainage improvements on the north side of town. Everybody's familiar with that. Last meeting, we had a letter of agreement from A2S to do surveying up there. And this is to drain the area on the north side, I believe it's 8th Street, that gravel road. There is a quote of hourly rate not to exceed $7,550 without written authorization from the client. We have a letter of confirmation from the McLean County Water Board, supports Washburn moving forward with this agreement to perform work. The city will submit applicable invoice to the Water Board for reimbursement of fees associated with this agreement, so they're gonna end up paying for it. So I'm gonna make the motion that we go ahead and sign the letter of agreement between us and A2S for the drainage survey.
I'll second that.
Discussion. Colin?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Remind me to sign that, Chelsea, before.
Okay.
Everybody knows where that is, right? Everybody has seen it? Okay. All right. So we're looking at an appointment of a new commissioner. We have to wait more than 15 days. 15 days is the minimum. So I would like to set up a special meeting for this Wednesday at 6 o'clock, if everybody can make it, to appoint a fill-in commissioner. We have a couple of interested parties. We're still waiting to see if anybody else wants to put their name in. So
This week, Wednesday?
this week, Wednesday at 6 o'clock. That'll work with everybody?
This week?
This weekend? Yep, be 2 days. Okay, so I will call a special meeting for Wednesday at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. And the only thing on the agenda will be appointment of a commissioner. A2S update, I don't think there was anything else with it.
No. Eric's out of town this weekend, so yeah, there's nothing new.
I'm sorry.
There's nothing new from him on that.
And I did talk with him later on this afternoon, and yeah, he's just checking in.
Okay.
So, okay. Colin?
last meeting, but I think, I had seen Adam reported that the membranes are in. As far as I know, everything's working good. Got a couple little small pump issues at the plant, chemical feed pumps, but working with Mike on that. Make
Oh,
everything-
like programming you need or something?
Yeah, some signal fluctuating issues, but nothing major. I brought it up to a couple people, I'm gonna bring it up again tonight. Put a lot of thought about this regarding the conflict from last meeting, about the work that was done up on the side of the highway with Marv having to pay for that work. I just don't feel it was right. Ultimately, I look at who benefited from that, and the city as a whole benefited, so I feel personally that if Marv paid for that, I think he should be reimbursed for that. That's my opinion.
How much was it?
I believe it was right around $1,000. I'd have to get a bill or an invoice from Chris before I would proceed with it, but based on the information I received this morning, that's where it was at, so. People make mistakes. Hey, if this happens, water under the bridge, let's move forward. I think, again, as I said, the city as a whole benefited from this. So I just feel in my heart that Marv should be reimbursed for what he did.
I would have a hard time entertaining this without actually having an actual figure in front of us, so we know exactly what it is. If it could go till next meeting, when you actually have a
Yeah,
bill.
we can table that, I can get a invoice.
I think that would probably be the proper way to handle it, instead of it's about this,
But I think, at least it needs to be addressed, so people are thinking about it. And,
Right. Well, I think it's good to bring up.
Yep.
And, yeah, can you add that to the meeting agenda for next meeting?
Yep.
If that's okay with everybody? Okay. That's okay, Colin? That's okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I got nothing else.
Mike?
With the Memorial Hall, need to remind everybody, the garbage out back needs to be for the hall, so on special occasions, it's not completely full. Our guys had to go clean it out today to make room for Memorial, because it wouldn't be dumped before the Memorial Day weekend.
Right.
So we need to do a better job of communicating that.
Wasn't there a sign on the building that says that?
Yeah,
mean-
there was leaves and stuff in there, that you cleaned out, right, Adam? This morning you cleaned out about 10 o'clock this morning, leaves?
We took out a chair and a metal pipe, and they took the leaves. They took it.
I really would hate to have to start locking that up again,
Right.
because we had to do that in the past.
Because there's more garbage in there now, from the day. So, if there's an issue, maybe we can find a way to address it. If somebody else needs another dumpster somewhere.
Right.
Mark, is that, you guys use it all for the park board, for the pool?
When we go around and pick up from the garbage cans, the 5th grade class went around and did a bunch of raking and picking up garbage. So we had a lot more bags than what we're normally used to. And Chris didn't know, so, he thought they were leaves and garbage, so.
Well,
That's where he
I mean,
got
the leaves, we all know that should go back here, so, please educate your guys,
Yeah.
They should know that.
Yeah.
You should know that. And if you're doing work at the pool, I guess I'm okay if there's certain things, but it needs to be coordinated maybe with the city to find out if you got construction going on, which I know you do, I'm okay with maybe filling it on the day that they're coming to dump.
Right.
But don't fill it, right after they dump, and then we have functions at the Memorial Hall, and they need that, so,
Yep. Yeah,
Don't just assume that because it's sitting there, that, you know, you have full access to that, so.
Yeah. We learn from this event.
Okay. I think that was pretty much it.
We got another application here for a summer laborer, and I think we're going to see if we can set up an appointment with them to have them come and do an interview.
Okay. Very good. That it?
That's it?
I talked with Titan today about the loader. The scheduled production date is June 9th, but, you know, they have like 6 of them that are supposed to be delivered to the state by the end of June, and they're having problems getting certain components. So they can't guarantee anything. You know, and I was really hoping so we could get rid of our other contract on the rental. I think for now, we're just gonna have to leave it open until we get more info on it.
And just to add a little bit to that invoice from Ascendum that I've been going back and forth on from.
Oh, yeah.
It's still open. I've called them twice and they're gonna work on it. They never get back to me, so I you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I just told them that bill is a little ridiculous for the amount
Yeah.
that they did, so.
Yeah, another bill that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay. Adam, anything on the compound gate?
Not since a month and a half ago when they told me they'd schedule us for spring. I can call them about it.
Yeah, you should probably do
They
that.
said they were putting the gate together, so I know they have the gate, but,
Oh, okay.
so I need people up there.
Who's doing that?
Security fence out of Minot.
Okay, still nothing on the Unimog, right?
No.
Okay. That's all I have. Chelsea?
I guess same thing, which I know is being addressed, but to be brought up because it's been a concern this last week too. There's residents noticing, but we have gotten phone calls about junk and yards looking absolutely terrible with stuff sitting out and being cleaned up, and so I know it's one of the things that we're addressing, but we've received a couple more phone calls again last week, so just bringing it up again that it needs to be addressed and letters get sent out to probably. There's a couple areas in town that people that keep calling on, so I think we need to look at addressing those 2 areas first and then go from there.
Right, and I have been in, talking with Chelsea and, beginning first into June here, I'll be done farming, spend more time on it, so. Do the same thing I said last time, I'm almost done farming. Okay.
And then there's just a couple areas, I know you're aware of it, but it was brought up too, I don't know if we want to mark it or what, but over on the corner of like that museum, there's like a big dip in there, cement mix.
Yeah, some of the concrete is heaving and separating, and there's definitely some tripping issues.
On the sidewalk, or
When I
what?
get here, I'll take you over and show you, but yeah,
Okay.
in the corner there.
Okay.
They showed up to me, Matt
Oh,
showed
okay.
me, and there's just
Okay.
definitely some concerns that we need to address, whether we, tear those up and re-pour them, or grind them down, or something,
Okay,
before somebody trips and,
okay,
so.
all right. Anything else?
That's all I got.
Adam? Nothing? Anybody have anything? Yes, Mark?
There's some potholes in front of the Baptist Cemetery where the pavement ends. I got people nagging me about it, off the next deal or whatever. I know that you're planning on maybe redoing that street or whatever, but there are people complaining about them potholes in front of stuff.
That kind of whole area is really bad, right?
Yeah.
You think maybe just some gravel up there?
Well, you can bleed gravel at least.
I know.
Asphalt you can't fix,
Right,
cheap. But
yeah,
I just had to mention it out loud.
yeah.
Where's this at?
North, was that, Northgate? No. Yeah, Northgate Road, the end of Northgate Road.
Up
where
by
it goes out.
the trailer park up there.
Yeah,
Oh,
past the trailer.
okay. Okay.
We'll take a look at it, and then, at least we'll try and get some gravel on it, so.
I I got something, Larry. The access road from River Ag down to the boat ramp.
Yeah.
It's got that big erosion in it. And then with this last rain, that by me, that emergency access road, it washed out quite a bit too. I was
Okay.
wondering, the city has that crushed concrete, if you could use some of that to repair some of those.
We have that little tiny pile. Oh, down here, yeah, that's right, we got some other stuff, yeah, that's right, yeah. We'll take a look at it, and,
Okay, just a thought.
yeah.
I know that I purchased a bunch of it, and it binds really well, it doesn't wash like gravel.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it, and, that might be a really good area for that.
That is it is on sale now. $14 a ton instead of 25 or whatever. Out at
River.
We got a big pile of it though.
crushed concrete.
Yeah, we hauled it out from the.
From
From the
Memorial.
From the Memorial Hall.
Yeah.
That was all crushed concrete that we took out of the Memorial Hall. Well, a lot of it was.
There's some crust in there, I think a lot of it was probably gravel, wasn't it?
Well, I think it was mixed together, but, yeah. Anything else? Okay. Bills? Oh, we have no bills, never mind.
No bills.
So our next meeting is June 14th. Thank you, everyone. Meeting adjourned.
About the police contract.
We're gonna do that next meeting.
Okay. Is somebody come from the